It shouldn't take long. No one moves, no one talks, and then no one gets hurt.
Well, Barnaby, Byrne, it's an absolute pleasure to be talking to you, and congratulations on the film, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And I think it would be remiss of me not to shout out Dartmoor, because I grew up not far from where you shot the externals. Because I sat up in my chair and was like, that's. And eventually, by the end of the movie, I was like, yes, that's Sheep's Tour. There we are. So yeah, that was lovely to see, and what a great spot as well, isn't it?
Stunning up there, absolutely glorious. The best of British, isn't it? Really.
I can't disagree with that.
I had to try and find an abandoned house with the littlest amount of vegetation I could, and that was that was it really. Like literally, I wanted that vista of just this house and nothing. You couldn't see buildings, lights, or anything.
Fits the bill perfectly. So I thought that was a lovely starting point just to see my home really. So thank you for that. Byrne, I understand that from what I've read, you'd worked together with Barnaby on how your character moved, and he's certainly got a very unique way of doing so. How did that conversation start, and was your sort of physical performance ultimately the result of being based on anyone in particular?
Yeah, no, honestly, actually, we came together for a chat and very much agreed about the character very quickly, perhaps 15, 20 minutes. Obviously Barnaby's incredibly complex visually. His work is, just fantastic. So I sort of trusted him with that, and he had a very clear idea immediately of what the costume should be, the little touches in terms of little gold tooth, a kind of Mac that has seen 1,000, it can huddle in a little alleyway, or it can be at the palace, covers a multitude of sins. And then as we started working, we didn't know exactly what the music was at the time. So when we filmed upstairs, we tried out different types of music, and we sort of came up with this, balletic or kind of physical dialogue that perhaps my Numbers does in his reverie, as it were. I can't specifically say it was based on anyone, except for the fact that I really enjoyed dancing around in my underpants, and I might do it again. But no,
who doesn't?
Oh, really? I see. We're getting confessions here, are we?
Keep shooting his underpants.
But yeah, no, we came together very, very quickly, and it was a pleasure to sort of to work on Numbers. Yeah.
He's quite the character. I can't wait for other people to see him. He's incredibly memorable. Barnaby, this is your first feature, so congratulations again. What was it like transitioning, as you have done, from sort of music videos and sort of making shorts to a full feature? And one, did it meet your expectations? And two, just how excited were you throughout the process?
Yeah, I loved it. It was just, obviously you're kind of like nervous, obviously, when you're going into something like that and everything. But like, it's, working with the actors was like just so amazing. And obviously, I the cast was just so good that it was a joy. It was a joy. Every day was a joy coming in, and I actually just, and I'm from such an intense shooting background of like shooting such intensity that it was like by day 5 I was like, this is just a holiday, not a holiday for me. the ultimate thing. And it's just like, I really loved it. But I loved the pre-production. I loved the building of the sets. I loved the detailing. I loved every single bit about making the movie. I loved, and it was just, and I could immerse myself into it. The other things, doing commercials and stuff like that, you can't immerse yourself in it. You can't like literally fall into it and like the detail, like what wallpaper is going to go on, Eddie's room, or Tienne and Sam's room, or what's the dressing gown that Numbers is going to wear, or the tiles in the kitchen. And I loved that, and I loved shooting it, and I loved creating the world. I mean, it was just, yeah, it was just, it struck every chord for me.
Brilliant. Bern, you've worked on the stage before, and All the Devils Here is very much a chamber piece, so it's almost like a play. Was that one of the key things that attracted to you to coming on board?
It's a good point, Ashley. I agree with you. It's very much in the vein of something that you could see on stage, isn't it? Even with the entrances and exits, etc. And perhaps I sort of subconsciously did respond to that. I still think of myself as a theatre animal, really, even though I haven't done any for a bit. But yes, the other thing was the echoes of the sort of chamber pieces of the past, particularly from the British tradition, the Ealings, the films that we started in the 70s, the crime thrillers and the crime gangster films, whatever. What it shared with that was very, very strong characters, sort of slightly hyper real, slightly, they're elevated slightly. They're immediately identifiable and memorable. And Numbers was obviously immediately that. But yeah, I would say that was definitely one of the things that Barnaby encouraged. And was that part of when you wrote it, Barnaby, with John? That was in your mind as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it totally was. I mean, the characters were, I grew up on those, those 70s and movies, and I loved watching those, like Lady Killers and Lavender Hill Mob. So I liked all those kind of, those pushing of characters, and Sexy Beast again is like something that's similar to, they push the characters, it's like Sopranos, it's like the Coen brothers, everyone has, they're just characters. And I think that's in England, that we kind of like it, and Eddie's said the same. It's like we shouldn't be glamorizing like criminals, and that's why Eddie really wanted to do this movie. That it didn't glamorize them and didn't do it. So what I did was instead I just tuned up the characters a little bit.
Thank you. I'd understood that the original sort of title that you were working with was Animal. Before obviously you settled on this, which I think is from the Tempest, and I just wondered what inspired that change, and why that title.
Okay, so I'm someone who, like, literally when I'm thinking of an idea, I will just like come up with the same first thing that comes into my head, and I'll just, because I don't want to waste time, like literally like scoring the board and like so Animal came quite quickly, and someone was suggesting Animals. I said, no, I don't like Animals because it's too curvy at the end. I want these jagged like letters being pointy all the way up, Animal. And so that's one of the things. But when we started shooting it and creating this world and creating these characters, and as you said all along in this interview, it's like it's so in depth and it's so rich in there that I knew that we needed something a little bit more. A little bit more than that, something a little bit more weighty and everything like that. And obviously there's a line in the film, there's like All the Devils Are Here, and it just fitted so well into that kind of play-like world that we're trying to create. Also give it a little bit of weight too, the whole thing, and just gives it that ensemble of it's like a play, and it is like a play. The whole thing is meant to be like a play,
Even the slightly heightened language that you and John came up with, it was slightly theatrical is the wrong word, but it was slightly heightened. It was very enjoyable to do.
Well, gentlemen, I'm being given the wrap. So thank you so much for your time today. I wish you every success with the movie when it comes out, and have fun with your audiences if you get the opportunity to sit in at any point in the future.
Thanks, Ashley. Nice to meet you, mate.
Thank you.
Bye.
Likewise. Take care, everyone.
is empty, 'cause all the devils are here.